Ready.
Welcome to episode 61 of the Go Get 'em Agility podcast. My name is Margaret Hughes and I'm your host. What is your end routine? Does your dog come out of the arena melancholy, kind of looking around, or do they drag you to the reward table? We want them dragging you to the reward table. We want them to know that there's a reward for a job just done. If they come out looking around and you start talking to your friends, you are directly affecting the run that just happened. And I want you to let them be rewarded regardless of their performance, because good chances are the effort was there and maybe your handling was not. If the dog's taking all these obstacles and working with you, it doesn't matter if a bar came down. It doesn't matter if they got a wrong course. It doesn't matter if there was a refusal, because a lot of that is based on the handler, and sometimes it's based on just new dog feelings. But what's most important is that the connection that you are creating right outside of the arena. Are you making a connection with your friends? Are you making a connection with your video recorder? Are you making a connection with the dog? Make a connection with your dog. Keep that relationship super strong for all the behaviors that they just performed. Keep the connection between agility and your dog strong. Unless they are thriving on jumping and running, chances are they need to be paid for working that, to keep them in the game, to keep them enjoying all that strenuous effort that they are putting in. When I'm talking about rewarding your dog, I'm talking about reward again and again and again. And I mean voice, I mean small treats over and over and over again in a very dynamic way. Be at their level, talk to them, tell them that you're proud. If you want to pet them, have them get engaged in a cookie first, then pet them, but reward the heck out of your dog. And as soon as you're done rewarding them, tell them that you've got more cookies in your pocket and go for a walk. Go for a you are a good dog walk, and keep rewarding them randomly throughout your walk. Let them potty. Exercise and excitement can cause the bladder to feel like it needs to be expressed, especially for some dogs, especially for those dogs that are actually full. But even if they're not full, exercise can cause them to feel like they need to express their bladder. So take them for a potty walk and take them for another poop walk. I can't tell you how many times people forget the afternoon poop. You've got to remember the afternoon poop and get them out there before or right after a run and let them potty. And just keep telling them what a great job they did, or that you're proud of them. Tell them that was it. That was the run I'm looking for. That was the effort that I was looking for. Stay engaged with them for a great deal after your run. Walk them past a bowl of water. Let them disengage with you for a moment to get some water, then take them on another potty walk. Going from your run to chatting with friends to straight to the crate will have a direct effect on your agility. You want to keep them excited about the entire process, from the moment you get them out of the crate in the beginning to the moment that you put them back into the crate at the end. Pay attention to your end routine. Does it matter to the dog? It does. So whatever you're doing before, during, and after your run is all connected. Make it matter to your dog. Emma just walked in the door. Hi, Emma.
Hello.
So Emma, I am talking about end routines and how going straight from the arena, straight from your run, right into your friends, like chatting with your friends, how'd that do, or whatever went wrong, or it was great, whatever. Or going straight from your run, straight to the car, how that can be a negative effect on agility itself.
Going straight to the car.
Yeah, if you run your dog and your dog thinks that they do such a brilliant job, and then you kind of ignore them a little bit, maybe you give them
I see.
You give them a head pat, you give them 1 or 2 cookies, but then you put them straight back into the car, how that can have a direct impact on how they feel about agility in general.
Right.
Right. And a dog that loves agility, maybe it doesn't impact it quite as much. But even the dogs that are suckers for agility and find agility itself reinforcing still want some sort of reinforcement, right? Toy, food, attention, all of those things. And then within that, utilizing that time after your run to potty your dog, water your dog, give them water, or pee and poop them is invaluable. Any thoughts on end routines? What do you do?
We go to the treat table. I grab a handful, and we leave, and we walk out the door, and we do a little lap around the facility. So if you have a dog that might not be the best walker, or they're just really high, and maybe a walk is not going to do anything, you don't have to do a walk. But I do a walk. My dogs like to walk.
Well, put them on a harness.
Well, yeah, that's true, too.
Let them pull you a little bit.
Right. They just had fun.
We'll get them out to the exercise area, maybe, get them off leash.
Yeah, that's true, too, actually.
I only go into the exercise area once or twice. Sometimes once when we first get there. I definitely do it at least once a day, because that Eli is faster to poop off leash than he is to poop on leash.
Yeah.
He'll poop on leash, but he's faster to poop off leash. But if I know that there's a poop in there, I actually can't take my toy in, because
he'll
just stay on the toy. And
funny.
He would rather play with the toy than poop. And so when I know that there's an afternoon, I leave the toy outside and we go in after our run and I let him poop.
Yeah.
But let me just clarify, when you come right out of the arena, you do an initial reward station.
Yes. Generally, I'll hide food right next to the gate. I did have my treats across the way at the West Coast Open, and we almost got run over by a golf cart. That's why I like her to know that there are treats almost always in the same position, because then she doesn't go flying out. She starts looking for them, and then she starts to reward herself, basically, or she, taps on the bucket. She's like, hey, there's food in here. And then I reward her, and then I get her on leash while she's eating. So then we get up. That's probably less than 30 seconds, because we're never, ever, ever in the way of the dog coming out behind us.
True. So I ran Dottie a couple weeks ago. I put the treats just outside the exit gate.
Right.
Which I like to do. I think it's good for her. I put them like on a 90-degree turn. So
that's what I do. I put it behind the pillars of the gate.
Yeah. So she comes out of the gate and she just runs along the wall to her.
Right.
I personally put her on leash, but
she doesn't like getting on leash with me. She's a little strange.
And she doesn't legally have to be on leash in UKI coming out.
Yeah.
AKC, she has to be on leash.
I have her get on leash in AKC.
Okay. When I came out, all of her cookies were gone.
Oh, like the bin had been taken, or just the cookies themselves? Like somebody had come along and been like...
So I had a bag of cookies, and then on the outside of the bag of cookies, I had put a whole bunch that she could just grab.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so she could just come right out of the gate, and they were right there, right?
Okay.
Well, they were missing. So the bag was still there, but the cookies were missing. And I'm like, oh, Dottie, somebody ate your cookies. Somebody ate your cookies. And so I started pulling them out of the bag, and just right next door was the dog prior to us.
Oh.
And she's like, yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Because her treat station was literally directly next to Dottie's.
Okay.
And she had hers on a manners minder.
Oh.
Well, so her dog.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. Manners minder.
Her dog came straight to the manners minder, and Dottie's treats were right next to that. So she just went, or, maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet next to that.
That's funny.
So anyway, now me and wherever I see the manners minder, I put my cookies the opposite direction.
Right. Gotta go left.
So she didn't get them the second run because I was prepared. But in general, I don't put cookies at the treat table.
I used to.
So there's almost always a designated treat table, and I will have some cookies there as an emergency. I literally have, for each ring, I have cookies stationed at both the entrance gate and
you
the
have
exit.
Bags of food for each ring.
I literally do.
Yeah, it's great. I think that's ours, and I just grab a handful.
I literally do. And that's because I know that how crowded the treat table can get.
Does people like to talk by the treat table too?
They do. And so I'm okay with the treat table. I think it's what's most important is that the dog knows that there's a station somewhere for them, or at least they get into the routine of it. And so in the very beginning, I show my dog, this is where we're coming to. Yeah. And I do that in practice as well. Like, this is where we're coming to at the end, and rewarding them. And over the years, it's not as big of a deal, but in the early days, it certainly was.
Yeah. I also want the masses to know that you don't have to put your treats on the treat table, as we just said. You can put them on the floor. So if you see a ton of people at the treat table, you don't have to follow them. The only issue with that is my dog is really little and she looks like a rabbit. And so she comes flying out of that gate. And we have had a few border collies that have been watching. She comes flying out of the gate. She starts eating. And the border collies are like, oh my goodness, you look very cute and fun to chase. And so you do have to, if your dog comes flying out, if you are doing the treat to floor method, especially if you have a little dog, you might have to protect them a little bit.
Definitely.
I want to say something just real quick about safety. I had a little joke, I don't know, like 2 minutes ago. Oh, Dottie and I almost got run over by a golf cart at the West Coast Open. And that wasn't the West Coast Open's fault, okay? That was our fault. The West Coast Open didn't have gates. They just had these big rings that you could just walk into. Dottie figured that out very quickly, so she would just fly out of the ring. And I was slow.
At the end of your run.
Yes. Yeah, she was very good. And she knew we had a bright blue bag for every single run that had food in it, and it was right in front of the ring, almost always across the walkway, right? And so she was like, oh, there's the bag. She took off running. I had to go get our leash because I was like, okay. So I ran and got the leash. I'm following Dot, probably about 6 feet behind her. And there's people going back and forth. There's a golf cart coming. And I remember in that moment thinking, okay, I need to be better about this. This is not anybody else's fault except mine. The fact that I feel unsafe right now, that my dog might get run over, she did not. But you have to be safe.
So I would definitely be attaching some sort of verbal as you're coming out to, so the leash can be part of the connection between coming out, getting on leash, and going to your snacks. So if you pair all of those together, you did great. Get dressed, wear your snacks. All of that can lead to a pairing for your end routine. When I come off of a run, I clap at my dog. That's telling him we're done. You're finished. You don't have to go find any more obstacles. Right now I've been doing clapping. I've been sending him to his leash, and also right here, buddy, which means hang with me within a 2-foot space. And then when I'm closer to his leash, telling him get dressed, and he drags me out to the reward. He always knows where the reward is on exit. For most dogs, they don't like to be pet. And so if you're going to pet them, make sure that you engage them in a cookie first. Another one is some people have their dogs jump in their arms.
Oh, yeah. I tried that for a while.
Which for most dogs, for dogs that are trained to do it, I think that most dogs do enjoy it.
I think so.
Eli got scrambly with it.
Yeah,
so he was really hard. I think he's just big enough for it's difficult for me.
Sure.
Although I see people pick up their German Shepherds, so maybe it's just I need to go back in and train that. Maybe I'll go back in and train how he comes into my arms, because he doesn't relax. He grips onto my side.
Right. Okay. Like a limpet.
All right. So that's the end of it.
Okay.
So reward your dogs heavily. Pair it with food.
Regardless of the outcome of the run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Unless they leave you to be no. I mean, yeah. Regardless.
They came back to you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, reward the effort that they give, even if they're distracted, even if they're struggling. I mean, take note of all that and work towards the beginning routine, but the end routine should be paired with reward, walks, potties, water, all
play.
that. Play.
Yeah. Make sure to let them cool down.
Yeah, and the cool down. Exactly. So you should not be going from running a sprint workout straight into a cramped lay down position in your crate.
Right.
So cool them down, walk them out, let them breathe again. All right, thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
I love you.
Bye, everybody.
Happy training.
Yeah.